I'm Judy Zelina. This is the Millcreek Government Channel. Today on our program, we have, again, I always say that's a familiar face, my dear friend and yours, Judy Helcom.
Hi there.
Judy is a registered nurse, and she's retired, haha, because I never let her retire. She keeps saying, Judy,
true.
I have retired. I said,
Right.
No, I'm not going to let that
Right.
happen. But we have joining us from the Erie County Diabetes Association, the registered nurse, Claudia Steinle.
Hi,
Claudia,
Judy.
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's a great organization, isn't it?
It really is. I've been with them for about a month now,
Yes.
so I'm kind of a novice to the Diabetes Association. I'm absolutely loving it, and everyone there.
But talking with you, you've really been a player in the community with different nonprofits and different organizations also.
Yes, that's so.
So you're very familiar with the community.
Yeah, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy working within the community in all sectors. And as much as you think you're teaching or helping someone else, actually in turn, they seem to do the same. It's a nice reciprocal relationship.
It is. Isn't that wonderful?
It is. It really is.
Well, guess what? We're going to be talking about diabetes. But we always have a subject. Well, Judy always has a subject she wants to talk about.
Gosh, blame it on me.
It
Yeah,
is,
right.
It is. But this is an interesting one, and I can't wait to do this show. It's called, we're calling it Diabetes Triggers.
Okay.
Through life, in everyday behavior, we have triggers in our life that direct us. Now,
Okay.
what about diabetes triggers?
Well, before we get to
See, there we go.
diabetes,
There we go.
Well,
I try to
first, when
What?
people think of a trigger, what's the first thing most people think of? On a gun, you have a trigger.
Yeah, and it's not a
and
good
it
thing.
causes an action.
Right. I'm thinking of
Okay.
something that causes an adverse reaction.
Exactly, right. So you have to understand that a trigger can be an external stimulus or cue, or it can come from within you. You can create triggers too. So if you understand the definition, then you say to yourself, okay, when I think of triggers in my life, every day we wake up and we make choices
All right.
about things,
Okay.
right?
True.
Lots
Yes,
of choices.
absolutely true.
about
I do.
things. So what we don't realize, because most of the time we're on automatic pilot, because we're so used to responding to some of these triggers the same way. Well, that's fine. If my alarm goes off this morning, I respond to that trigger, hopefully. Some people hit the snooze alarm, and some people oversleep the snooze alarm. But that's a pretty straightforward one.
Right.
When we talk about our health, or when we get later to some diabetes examples, this is where there's lots and lots of triggers, but they don't have to be negative. You can take a negative trigger, whether it's diabetes or otherwise, and turn it into a positive outcome for yourself. So that's what we're going to explore on the show today. But you
can't
gotta
wait.
look at yourself, Judy. We always put
Oh,
each
yeah.
other on the hot seat. We'll do the same thing today to show people.
Can we put Claudia
Oh,
too?
absolutely.
I knew this was coming
Yeah.
first. I just had a sense that was going to happen.
Right, she's so excited. Okay, so now go into, you were saying, let's start with you with your triggers. When you think of triggers in your life, what is something that just stands out for you as a real trigger? Whether it's eating, exercise, coping, whatever. What's a trigger for you?
I have so many, I don't know where to start.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I really do.
Do
I
you
mean,
really?
Sure, when you're talking about, okay, here's one trigger
All right.
that is not a good one, but you can turn, or that I don't think is a good
Possibly
one,
not. Okay.
but Judy's going to turn it into a good one. If I'm just sitting and watching TV
Okay.
or reading,
Right.
okay, I want something to eat. And I don't even realize that I'm eating it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And now my trigger is I sit down and I think, oh, Judy, you're not hungry. Why are you doing this? But yet I'm going up and I'm going to be grabbing some pita chips or some peanut butter or something like that.
But that's very healthy, actually. Those snacks you just mentioned,
Well,
you
and
had a
there's
trigger,
a-
but
there's a
there's
good
the
part of
negative
it
to the
right
positive.
there. Exactly. But go back a little bit more. So when you come home from a busy day,
Right.
and you fix your meal, whatever, and then you tend to go sit down? Or are you sitting down sooner, just relaxing before you even get to the kitchen?
This is later at night. This is later in the evening.
So you sit down,
Right.
TV is on,
Right.
radio or something. Okay. And a thought? Is a thought coming into your mind?
Probably a thought.
Or do you see something on the TV that is a trigger to say, oh yeah, I really have a taste for something
I think
right
it's a
now?
thought, and you know what I think a lot of it is too, now that I'm talking with you?
Okay.
Habit.
Yeah.
Oh my
Sure.
gosh, absolutely.
It's become a habit.
Sure.
I'll
Okay.
sit down and I'll eat something.
All right. So you go, stand up, go get something.
Sure do.
You don't have stuff sitting around you necessarily, because you're so used to it. So you say, yeah, I'm gonna
So
have this.
I figure
while
I've
I'm
exercised to go and get
sitting. Okay.
That's right.
food, and I
So
exercise
you're on
walking
your
back.
way.
Right.
Let's just take you through that process.
Okay.
You're on your way
All right.
to the kitchen, right? And you say, what am I going to have? Does that thought go through, or you automatically gravitate to a
I've
certain?
already thought in my head.
Okay, so give me something that.
A cookie.
A cookie. What kind of cookie? Any kind, or a particular
No, I've got a
kind?
particular kind of
What
cookie.
is it? What's the cookie?
I love those Oreo, vanilla on one side and chocolate on the
my
other. Double
Yeah,
stuff.
favorite of mine too. Okay, so now we're getting into the real trigger.
And that's what I want.
Oh man, can you feel
That's
the
what I want.
saliva's increasing in your? Really, you're getting all excited
Right.
because it was an enjoyable experience before. It'll be the same now.
Of course.
But maybe, just maybe, like you do, you say, you know what? I just finished eating a half an hour ago. I really don't need this. Okay?
Right.
Just this once.
Right.
I'm going to pass it up. Just this once. What do you do? Do you do something similar to that, but then you still follow through and give in to the trigger? Just try to walk me through it again.
I give in to the trigger.
Absolutely.
me too.
There it is.
And I rationalize it.
Oh, okay. So what do you say?
I've worked hard today.
That's right.
I deserve
I need
this.
that cookie.
I deserve it. It's my reward for working hard today.
Exactly.
Okay. Now,
I can rationalize anything like that in my head. That's what's so bad about triggers, though.
exactly. Okay. So what are you thinking, Claudia?
Well,
in response to what you
Here's what
bring
I'm
yourself?
thinking. I'm thinking, I don't think that's so terribly awful what you've done, for one thing.
I think Claudia's done that.
Oh, I do
That's
it all
all
the
I'm
time.
saying.
And I think it's important to recognize that, as you just pointed out, that's something that you saw as a trigger. That automatic pilot that you described, I think
Yes.
we all experience on multiple levels.
Absolutely.
But I think that the upside to that, as well as we all do it, you can make the choice, as you did. You said, well, peanut butter and pita chips. Well, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And actually, healthy snacks are actually a good thing and help with your metabolism to maintain steady blood sugars
Yes.
if we focus the conversation on triggers and diabetes.
Right.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing. And I think it's really important that we don't beat ourselves up for every time we might have a weakness, because the weakness, frankly, that's been drilled into us so frequently, lose weight, make sure you exercise, where people think, oh, I better go get a gym membership or something. Well, I can't afford a gym membership, so I'm not going to exercise, right?
Yes.
So we just take small steps. We all have triggers for multiple behaviors that are either positive or negative, and I think we just try, to the best of our own abilities individually, to limit the number of negative behaviors, because to think that we can erase all of those triggers or all of those indulgences,
Absolutely.
you're really setting yourself up for failure then.
You are.
So let's ask you.
Oh
as a
boy, do I have
follow-up.
so
Okay,
many
so
triggers.
give us one of your.
Well, I have, a lot of unhealthy behavior. I have many unhealthy behaviors, okay. But I think when people look upon, healthcare professionals, they think you should, and you should really be setting
An example.
a perfect example,
You
but
got it.
We
being
think you're
human as
perfect.
well.
Yes. You know
right?
everything,
So
so
we
you
can
do it all
educate
right.
these things, and we certainly don't. And we certainly don't. In fact, sometimes nurses can be
The worst.
Can be the worst.
Yes,
Many will
exactly.
tell you. So intellectually, we know better.
Yes.
And when you're educating people, they then intellectually
yes.
know what's the best thing for them or not the best
Yes.
thing for them. But it is hard to follow through. So for example, for myself, I don't eat breakfast. I should eat breakfast. You know, it's a good start to the day. It's a healthy start to the day. I've never been a breakfast eater.
Okay.
But boy, I'll slam 2 or 3 cups of coffee,
Right.
you know, in the morning.
Okay.
And then by 10 a.m., I'm, you know, ravenous, so I need to get something to eat.
All
And
right.
frequently what happens, and Mr. Tucker can attest to this, he said, boy, I'm buying stock in Wendy's. Because it's close, right? We look at those kinds of variables and those kinds of factors.
Right.
What's convenient? What's close, what's
convenience.
fast,
There
right?
you go. Yeah,
And so, you know, Mr. Tucker, our executive director, I'm going to go out to lunch, and I come back and he, again, yesterday said, or the day before actually, he said, I really am going to buy stock in Wendy's. You eat there nearly every day. Now, we know that that is not a healthy diet. I certainly know that's not a healthy diet. But I'm looking at convenience, right?
Right.
Why don't I pack? So the positive thing for me to do would be to pack a healthier
Right.
lunch,
Right.
even if I did so half the week.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
You know, I stay up too late at night. You know, I deprive myself of sleep frequently. I might want to do that next load of dishes or a load of laundry.
Yeah.
So I intellectually do know what I should do.
Right.
Right.
But I don't.
Sometimes-
Frequently, I don't
and
follow
we know
up,
what's
so
right, but
we're all human.
sometimes life gets in the way.
Yes.
And
We need workarounds then.
exactly.
So let me tell you an example that happened to me the other night. I went to a workshop, which there was dinner served, and of course, what was I thinking? Ooh, I wonder what they're having for dessert. Okay, so I sit down,
That would be me.
eat this. Really, it was a very healthy meal to begin with.
Okay.
And I just had to, because the trigger was sugar cookie. And it was not a little sugar cookie. And I even remember saying to myself, Judy, that's a pretty hefty sugar cookie. Do you think you really need it? Absolutely. I didn't even question it. Okay, go eat the meal, eat the sugar cookie. I'm all done. Beautiful workshop, learned a lot of new information. Going to leave to go home, what did I have to pass by? The dessert table. Now, I'd already had a sugar cookie.
All
I should be
right.
satisfied, right?
Okay.
Stimulus there. Response was, Judy, I just said, Judy, picked it up, put it in a napkin, wrapped it up, okay? Get home. What did I do? You think I ate the cookie, right?
I would
Both
have.
of you were
Yes.
thinking?
I would.
I would have.
And ordinarily, I would. Don't ask me if it was guilt or what it was. But I said, you know what? Just this one time trigger, I'm not giving in to you. Tomorrow is another day. Put it in the refrigerator, and guess what happened to that cookie the next day when I went to eat it?
I say your husband
was
is
That's what I
gone.
was just going to say.
So he
what I was
took
gonna
care of
say.
the situation. But that's an example of if you put some thought behind what's going on with you, even if you just do it one time, you are breaking the cycle.
That's right.
And that's what we got to do. But people don't like to look at themselves and question, what are my motives for doing this right now? Now, in your case with the Oreo cookie, which is your favorite,
Right.
you might get something that's not too much your favorite and start with that. It's still a cookie, it still may tempt you, but maybe you can pass it up easier than the Oreo one. Don't sabotage yourself with the hardest challenge
Right.
sometimes.
But what happens, and I know this
Okay.
has happened to many of our viewers, and it's got to have happened to you guys too,
Sure,
because I'm not the
never.
only one in this room. Oh, yeah.
No,
Sure.
of course
Oh, the
it
healthcare
has.
professionals, they're perfect.
No,
Yes, right.
absolutely
All right,
not.
now I want that cookie.
Okay,
I've got it in my head. I want that cookie.
Yes.
I go to the cabinet and I'm out of them. I don't have any.
Okay.
No, I got chips.
All right.
All right, now I'm going to have chips. That didn't satisfy me. So I'm going to go to my refrigerator. I'm going to go get pudding. No, that didn't satisfy me. I'm going to go to the freezer and get ice cream. Had I had the cookie, in other words, if
I
really,
see
if
what
you've got a
you're
trigger
saying.
in your head,
Yes.
and
Yes.
sometimes if you've got in your head that you want that, so whatever
Right.
you have isn't going to satisfy.
So, but
that
you
craving.
just
That's a good
keep
point.
going to try to satisfy
Yes.
the initial craving.
Oh, okay,
That's a good
great. I'm the
point,
only one here that
actually.
does that.
No,
No, that's a really
We're
good
walking
point.
through it.
Claudia.
But it's
That's a
true.
good point. It is. It's a good
I
point.
think you two are sticking up for each other,
No, no,
right? Okay.
She raises a good point, though, right? Because
my
we've done it. We've all
Are
done it.
you kidding? Absolutely.
Now, all these triggers are really important for everybody in day-to-day life. I mean, to be aware of.
Right.
And how to handle them. When it comes to diabetes,
Yes.
how
Oh
do
my
we work
gosh,
this into
becomes-
diabetes?
Okay.
What?
Yes.
Well, think of the areas of diabetes. You're either not aware of diabetes in your
Okay.
life
All right.
and just putting that on the back burner, or you've actually been told blood sugar's going up a little, your weight's going up, you're not exercising, you're heading toward pre-diabetes.
Right.
Or you've been diagnosed with it and struggle with it every day
Okay.
as a challenge.
All right.
So there's triggers in each of those areas. So,
Absolutely so.
Claudia, let's.
Well, I think the important part with diabetes, just as the backdrop to it, is that in the non-diabetic body, when we eat something like the triggers we're talking about, our cookies, our
Right.
Wendy's, or what have you, our bodies are able to accommodate
Yes.
that intake. So while we have that glucose spike, you know, the carbohydrates and or other foods that are formal sugars convert to glucose.
Okay.
They travel in our bloodstream. Our bloodstream provides nutrients to our entire body. And so after a meal, that blood sugar spike that the non-diabetic body experiences, insulin is released to bring that down
That's it.
to a nice balanced level because the body wants to maintain balance. In an individual with diabetes, however, when they take these, the triggers we're talking about, and foods, sugary drinks, or just carbohydrates that are even healthy,
Okay.
the blood sugar, the conversion of that glucose, it remains, of that food, remains in the bloodstream. And it doesn't peak and then level.
All right.
It remains elevated.
That's
The
it.
danger here with those high or hyperglycemic episodes, they occur every time we have intake. And so when the body is not able to regulate that as the non-diabetic body can,
Okay.
it has very negative effects on the entire body system because our blood travels to, provide nutrients to our
Alright.
entire bodies.
You got
So
it.
that's one distinction as a backdrop. So in the diabetic individual, we want to maintain balance, and the way we do it is with a toolkit, one of which is food, right? Another of which is medicine. Another of which is lifestyle, such as exercise. And another primary one would be to maintain medical contact, with your physicians and your health coaches. So those are the tools that a person with diabetes has to employ just to maintain what the non-diabetic body does naturally.
Yes.
And so all of those things become of increased importance, not that they aren't for all of us,
Right.
but it's a challenge because there are multiple tools that are available, but it's hard to manage all of those components. And so it's a struggle
thing.
frequently.
Yes.
So an individual with diabetes, these triggers that we're talking about, when they get these triggers, they really have to stop and think, can I change my action with this trigger, right?
Right.
Because health-wise, I mean, for their health.
Or
because you're
have-
talking food, you're talking exercise.
Oh my gosh.
And you're talking
so
medication.
Many things. Or what's going to be my backup plan?
Right,
Because
the substitute.
if what Claudia just said, and excellent,
Right,
the way that
exactly.
you portrayed it. If you get into a little bit of a different thought and say, okay, I know I'm going to face the Oreo. I know I'm going to skip breakfast. What's my backup plan? Just for tomorrow. I'm going to do something totally different.
Right.
Okay, you're breaking that cycle again. Doesn't matter what you're going to do, doesn't matter if it's successful or not. You tried something different.
Right.
In your brain, that's kind of setting up some other kind of pathways that the brain's going to say, what you doing to me now?
Right.
Okay.
That's
All
it.
right.
It's as
That's true.
simple, but it can be as complex as you make it.
Yeah.
One day or one situation at a time.
And I think that's the most important part of all of this, of managing diabetes.
Yes.
And of managing your triggers
Right.
are small steps.
Yes.
Yes.
Because honestly, and we've talked about this, if you came to me and said, all right, Judy, guess what? You have to change your total lifestyle. You have to change everything
Right,
you
yes,
eat.
right.
The way you exercise, the way you live.
Right.
That is so overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
The odds are I'm not going to do anything.
not
Exactly.
going to.
Because I'm just looking and I'm just overwhelmed and it's just too much for me.
Right. Well, how about blood work? Because you had mentioned earlier,
Right.
you get a copy of your lab results
I
typically,
always
and
do.
we
I
always
always do.
encourage
It's really-
people to
yes.
get copies
Absolutely.
of their lab results.
You can compare them from your last
Yes.
one also.
Okay, but what could be a trigger with looking at that blood report? What would
If
be
it's
a trigger?
starting to elevate.
Oh, but how do you know that? I mean, if you see, yeah, well, whatever, pick a blood sugar. You had a blood sugar done,
Okay.
and automatically the trigger is, oh, I remember Judy saying my blood sugar should be below.
Below 100.
See, she's so good, I'll tell you. Okay, and I'm just making this up.
Right.
Yours is 105.
Okay.
What is the trigger doing to you now?
It's like, whoa, what can I might be getting into some dangerous territory here.
Okay.
It might increase your anxiety.
It might.
Okay.
And what else might it do when you go to get that Oreo cookie? It may very well come to my, oh my gosh.
Better-
Maybe I better pass just this
Maybe
one
not
time.
every night,
I
maybe.
don't want that blood sugar in that range. I want it below 100. So here's
things like
one thing.
that are a trigger
Oh
for
my
us to
gosh.
modify our
Absolutely.
eating behavior.
There you go. Lab work is, to me, it's a positive
It
because
is,
it's
yes.
giving you information,
How
but it's what
interesting.
you do with the information.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So.
That you know what, I never really thought of it that way,
Yeah.
but it is
right.
true.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And small steps, like we said, I cannot stress that enough to our viewers. Take little steps at a time.
And as a result of seeing this show, if a person would just say, just for today, I'm going to try to look at myself a little more
Right.
closely as to how I'm responding to cues for me to take actions and see what happens.
just
You'd be
becoming-
amazed.
It's just becoming self-aware
Oh, it is.
of what
It
you're
is.
eating and not only eating, because we are talking right now about food, but there's also exercise.
Oh my gosh,
Triggers.
that's a biggie. With me,
Yeah.
it's a swear word. I've told you this before.
is.
Exercise is
It
a
is.
swear word. So I have to gravitate to eating healthier
Right.
and doing something different there because I'm not willing to do the exercise. However, right now, I went through the group lifestyle program.
Yes.
I still wear my trusting pedometer
Good.
every day, but I did an experiment with that. I deliberately didn't put it on. First of all, it didn't feel right because I'm used to having
Right.
it there. And I said, so how do you know how you did today? Then when I put it back on and I see I had only a couple hundred steps when I'm supposed to have 1,000 steps, right?
right.
Oh, come on, girl, you got to get back into the gear. So there's something that is a trigger
It's
for
a
me
trigger.
to keep
Yeah.
my awareness up with what I'm doing here.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You guys do a great job. You have really given so much information, you know, through all the programs, and this program is a trigger, because when you think of a trigger, you really do think that, oh, this is a bad thing.
Yes, exactly, and that's not the case.
And you and
Absolutely.
Claudia let me know it's not all that bad what I do.
No, not at all.
My goodness.
I think we're,
no.
we're hard on ourselves.
Right.
I think we are,
people are
too.
very hard on themselves.
You could make a deal with yourself the next time you go for the Oreo. Watch the reaction here. Okay, I'm going to go out and instead I'm going to have a carrot and I'm going to peel that. Oh yeah, can you just see what a joke?
Right, and then dip it in chocolate. No, I'm kidding. I'm just teasing.
my
I'm teasing.
God.
I'm
Claudia's
teasing.
carrot.
Really?
No, but you know,
I'm
really,
teasing
it's
you,
not going to
Make
happen.
it fun. Make it fun. What can I do?
Yeah.
Not a chore or
Right.
a burden. Yeah.
But all kidding aside, you pick carrots, and that's something that I would never ever do.
Yeah.
But there might be something else that I
That
would
you
like instead.
could, yeah.
That I could
Or
switch it
that
out
you
for.
could do and not even go the food route. What else could you just do?
could
I'm
probably-
going out to the kitchen.
I could drink water.
Aha, there's a good one. Don't drink water, put a pitcher of water in your refrigerator
So
at
it's
the start of every day. And the goal is at the end of that day, it better be empty. Okay, that would help
I
you
could do
too.
more of that.
Do you
I
see
don't drink
these
enough
little
water.
tests?
Yeah.
And-
I need to increase my water
I do
intake. I'm not a
too.
big
I
water
do
drinker.
too, yeah.
So I have to force myself.
Well, believe it or not, we are getting at the end of our
Oh, it's
program here. Oh my gosh, I
impossible.
cannot believe this. Is there anything that you wanted to reiterate or let our viewers know, just to remind them about anything with diabetes triggers?
T stands for trigger. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Find out the good ones or not so good ones, and what can I replace the trigger with?
I think
that
that's-
is going to be in the interest of my
I think that is great advice. I really do. And Claudia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Judy. And
Excellent.
it was
And
really
now
a
if
pleasure to
anyone
meet you.
has any questions, they can always contact the Diabetes Association.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd be
Okay.
happy to meet with them individually.
And our phone number is,
814-454-0715.
You have a great website.
oh my
Yes.
gosh, yeah.
And that is diabeteserie.org.
That's
got
right.
it.
And I'm going to tell you that, honestly, that website is a wealth of information.
Oh, it is. Oh my gosh, you got to really scout around and look, oh, what else can I read here?
I'm going to tell you though, if anyone is just recently diagnosed or they know someone who's recently been, especially, I'm just going to talk right now about someone who's recently diagnosed, there's so much fear, there's so many questions, there's denial. We've talked about denial, we've done a whole shows
Yes.
on
Right.
denial and how to get around that with family and friends.
Right.
Please give them a call. They have a great newsletter
Yes.
that has a lot of information, a lot of different programs, and you
Yes.
guys are all throughout the community.
Yes,
Are you
we
just
are.
in Erie County?
Currently.
For the most part. We might get requests from outside Erie
Okay.
County, but our focus is Erie County, and especially working with people who are underserved with less health insurance, no health insurance.
Right.
We'll really reach out to them to be their
are
lifeline.
Great. They're great. Judy, it is always a pleasure having you on the
Okay.
program. And we'll continue. We're not going to let her retire, okay, viewers?
That's right.
Right, Claudia?
No, absolutely right. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so
She's-
much.
Well, she's lovely.
It was so nice to meet you. It was
Nice
a
to meet
great
you as
show,
well.
Great
And
information.
thank you for making this painless.
Yes,
I appreciate
right.
it.
Viewers, again, if you have any questions on what we talked about or any other subject related to diabetes, please give the Erie County Diabetes Association a call. Check out their website. Thank you for tuning into the Millcreek Government Channel. Until next time, have a wonderful day.
You're watching the Millcreek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.